what to say. You know, I was just pondering, contemplating on what to say. And the chance of making a fool of yourself by not planning, not having some sort of subject, some thoughts in your mind about what this talk or this uttering will be about. But there's a complete dissolution of that, what you would call doubt. Because there's no one to make a fool of. There's no fool to make a fool of, you see. There's no self to make a fool of. There's no one to make a fool of. You know, in our day and age, we can, if we choose to, revisit before making a diary out of it, uploading it to YouTube, sharing it with your family or whatever, with a priest or some holistic group, then you have that opportunity to look back and listen and say, oh no, I'll do it again. I wasn't saying the right things. I wasn't wearing the right clothes. I wasn't doing the right, the right sound, the right voice. I needed a more empathetic voice. I needed a more joyful voice, you see. But when there's just something taking place, there's no identification to the one that speaks, you see. Where the words, where the verbalization is coming from, I have no idea, you see. I know it's coming through this vessel, and I know that I am able to recite words through a 65 year of learning words, learning nouns, verbs, all that nonsense, that I can put it in a kind of okay practice, okay experience, you see. You see, and that's the gains from enlightenment is to lose. You see, again, many losses. And it makes enlightenment sound very unattractive to the gaining mind, you see. The one that wants to be enlightened, you see. I want to be enlightened, meaning there's something that someone or some entity or some person wants something more from this experience. I want something more, see. And that's what we're taught at school. That's what you're taught by television advertisements, by governments, by teachers, by parents, by everyone you talk to. Keep going, keep gaining. You don't know when you're going to need that stuff. You know? Keep getting the mind fat, you see. You don't like that, you see. The mind doesn't like that, fat. I'm not, what do you mean, a fat mind? Yeah. Well, when there's a over consummation of food, the body becomes fat. When there's an over need to sleep, you know, the body sleeps much more. When there's an over need to overwork, you know, spent 18 hours each day at work, the body just becomes tuned into work. There's no balance, you see. So we are attuned into gaining, into more, into wanting, into needing, into deserving. I deserve more, you see. I've done so much for society. I deserve more, you see. And enlightenment removes all mores. See, it doesn't remove the body. It doesn't remove your home, your car, the goodies that you have already inherited, you see. It doesn't take anything away physically or objectively or subjectively. It just takes away the capacity to follow particular guidelines, not by your government, not by society, by what you have created within yourself. It takes away the thoughts of negativity. It takes away all thoughts, actually. So there's not a continuation of a train of thoughts. A thought comes suddenly out of the blue. It passes and it goes. And there's a space. The space may be a day. It may be 5 minutes. It may be a lifetime, you see, depending on if you're a monk, if you turn into some sort of, recluse. Because the more you lose on your thinking mechanism, your mental ego capacity to organize, plan, want, need, all this stuff that causes suffering, when your body is consumed too much food, it's obese and it becomes suffering. I can't do the things I have to do. My joints are in pain. I feel tired all the time. I feel this. That's the same as the consuming of mind. Mental illness says, personality disorder, meaning I have two talking in my head. Sorry, I think that's schizophrenia. Personality disorder means I have created so many ways to deal with so many states of mind, you see. When the uniformed officer of law comes towards me, I can stop being this uncaring, uncouth person, and I can be disciplined and smart and obey and talk their language, you see. I am creating a different way of dealing with this multiple states of mind. So many people can actually go to funerals and not have any association with the one that passed away, but create a tearful, experience for themselves. Whether it's to show the family that they have respect, or whether it's, I can just be a tearful person for this. What I associate with is a very, very sad time, you see. Multiple personalities before you become enlightened. Enlightened, you have just one personality. The personality is emptiness. There's nothing that can really pull you into a state of mind. But of course, when you go back into society, when you go back into your own family, your own routine, your own memory system, that it is very easy to be drawn into these states of mind. And there's nothing wrong with any form of state of mind if you're coping. All along, I'm coping. And there's nothing wrong with experiencing profound ultimate enlightenment when everything is dissolved and the annihilation of the story and the identity and the person and this dual world becomes, one whole experience, one whole moment. And falling back into the ego state, there's nothing wrong, you see, because your ego state will have to take a long, long time again to become powerful, to become dominant, to become controlling. See, there's no actual one state of mind. Enlightenment also a joy, blissful state of mind. And then when it grounds, it becomes a very peaceful, contented state of mind. But nothing can maintain what life offers. You see, life will continue to offer, you know, death around us, weddings around us, funerals around us, having to change workplaces around us, moving your home around us, your quality of your friends around us, your neighbours around us, your family duties around us. Nothing can, life cannot take away these, what we call silent experiences. So you're likely, very likely to fall back into a minuscule ego, hopefully, because it's going to take many years, because it took me many years before I realized I was living a fake life. I was a fraud. I was depressed. I was severely needful to be accepted by a life that has no time for you as a person. I mean, apart from your family and your loved ones and your friends, no one really has time for the person, the identity. You know, in today's society, more people have time for the television set or the phone or the religion or their job, but the persons we walk past by every day, we have no time for. You see, in an ego way, I have no time for you. I've got so much things to do in my life. I have no time to smile. I have no time. You know, and that's okay. As long as you're content, as long as your life is your coping mechanism, you know. Yuji Krishnamurti calls it the computerized mind. And the computerized mind in today's society is much necessary. You know, you won't get anywhere in this world without adhering to guidelines, rules, regulations, ways, methods, cultural changes. You won't get accepted in this world. You become even lesser a person in this world when you try and fit into a world that is not working in a natural way. You see, enlightenment means the world is working in a natural way for you, and you have no interest in confronting, fighting, arguing, creating, destroying. You're just the flower that blows in the wind, you know. And he says, "Oh, I don't want to be a flower blowing in the wind. What the hell kind of life is that?" Can you imagine the intensity of the aroma of the perfume on the flower, for the flower? I mean, we go close to a flower and we smell the flower and we go, "That's beautiful." Imagine being that perfume. Imagine being that free to flow, that coming and going every year, no death, infinite change, accepting different petals, different colors, different everything about what we try and achieve as a human being apart. The only thing is different, the flower is connected to the earth. And we say we're not. We're free to walk anywhere on the earth. You see, the minute you walk off the earth, the flower is laughing. Oh, thankfully I'm connected. Your gravity is gone, you know. You see, when the words stop coming, you can either say, yeah, namaste, bye-bye, or you can continue to sit in silence and wait to see what comes, you see. But there's no effort, you see. There's no planning, there's no organization. As you can see, there's no auto cue, there's no little cards to read off, there's no oh my God, whatever. Sometimes you forget the word. You see, there's a word that would appear to be useful in this talk, but then suddenly it's not really useful, so it doesn't come. You see, it's like something inside saying, no, don't use that word. That's an exaggeration. That's to try and make you to be smart, or to make you to be intelligent, or to make you be superior over the listener. And there's no separation between me and you. There's no division, you see. The thing about enlightenment is you see everything equal. You don't see money as a divisionistic tool, although in our human life it can be used for that, you know. But you don't see it as that. You know, you don't carry it in your pocket and say, okay, what can I get for this? You go into the shop and you're hungry and you look at the price and you check your money and you say, I have enough for that, I'll buy that. And you don't starve, you see? And then the rest of the money is taken off your before you get it anyway, you know, direct debits, and you think you get 27,000 or 32,000 euros or yen or whatever your wages, you see. You think you're going to get that, you see, but you don't get it. You only get a very, very small portion of that because it's taken off of you, you know, bills, you know, car finance, mortgages, all that stuff. So we're not really rich, even with money, you see. And then you start looking at the quality of your home against someone else's quality. Then you make comparisons. Then you make, you know, then you become competitive. I need more money to have a bigger house than Johnny because Johnny's a real nutcase. He really thinks he's something special. Johnny doesn't exist, you see. Johnny doesn't exist because I don't exist. And that's in that quality of I need to find something to confront. I need something to challenge. I need to challenge Johnny. If I can't find Johnny, I'm going to have to challenge my the size of my garden compared with Mary's garden, you know. She's got a great garden, you know. And these things are just taking place, and these things are they cause no harm unless you're taking a gun out to shoot Johnny or stealing Mary's lawnmower to stop her cutting across. They're just thoughts. They're just basic thoughts. They're basic thoughts to think that this world, you know, we all die differently. You know, the rich die great. They die great, you know. They die wonderfully. They die so smoothly, you see, because they can pay God some money, you know. Give me a good death, God. You know, give me a good death. You see, we all come into the world in the same way as the flower, and we all bloom in our own ways. But when we try and bloom like another flower, you take your mind off of your own perfume, you see. It's called self-respect. It's called self-inquiry. It's called going beyond I. It's removing the connections to the what Yuji calls the systematic way, the system that keeps you not empowered, but powerless. And you feel powerless because you don't have the same as Johnny, you don't have a garden like Mary, you don't have the money to die peacefully. You feel dispowered, powerless. And enlightenment is beyond powerless, you see. It takes away every power that is unnecessary to live a very, very contented and peaceful and free life. And it's a true connection to the inner God that keeps fueling us with positivity and negativity, trying to trick you into the negative world. And when you pay no attention to the negative world, God's not angry. God's, yeah, well done. Yeah, you overcome that. I thought you were going to fall back into that old ways, you know, that old past that keeps us prisoner. The past, you see, the rules and regulations, the manifestos from past, you see, and we're using an iPhone, you know, that can send a picture within a millisecond, you see, but we're still living in the past ways. The religion is the same old stale past, but science still stuck in the same old past. Scientists are not prepared to go inwardly in their own and visit something that is much more profound than what they will find with a spaceship or a telescope or a microscope, you know. Always living in some sort of dream world that humans are this form, and that's why we'll stay for the rest of our lives, not really opening up to an enlightened look, a diverse look, because enlightenment can lead to geniuses, depending on depending on what the world is like around you. You know, the people are around you. People like around you just ignore you. You know, and so you just remain stagnant and pure and loving and content. But you may have some serious people around you that say, "Wow, we can. This one is so wise. This one can change." You see, that's why some become saints. They become gurus. You see, because they, you know, regardless of what Ryuji Krishnamurti says about gurus create so much joy for the people in the satsang hall. They create so much peace and tranquility. They also create suffering, but the suffering is to lead you to no more suffering. You see. I don't know, you see. Anyway, 22 minutes. What the hell? You got nothing. Absolutely nothing. Empty nothing. What to do now? I'll just sit and laugh for a while, you know.